My friends, have you ever noticed that the loudest noise in life is not outside, it's inside? The world shouts, but it is our mind that screams. And the day your mind finally rests, that day, even the noisiest world feels silent. Let me share something beautiful with you today. We spend our whole life trying to silence the world, but we forget one thing: silence is not found outside. Silence is created inside. We keep saying, one day I will find peace. But peace is not a place. Peace is not a time. Peace is a practice, a daily practice. Imagine waking up every morning with a mind that doesn't drag you into yesterday's regrets or tomorrow's fears, but simply breathes with you in the present moment. That small shift, just a few seconds of inner rest, can change the direction of your entire day. The mind is like a child. If you don't guide it, it will run everywhere. But if you gently teach it the art of resting, the noise of life becomes softer, clearer, and kinder. Today, I want to share with you how to move from noise to silence, from pressure to presence, from surviving the day to truly living the day. When we say the mind rests not when life becomes easier, but when awareness becomes deeper, we are touching a truth that almost every human silently struggles with. Because most people are waiting for life to calm down before they allow themselves to breathe. They keep telling themselves, when I finish this project, then I'll relax. When I earn more, then I'll be peaceful. When people finally understand me, then I'll feel good. But life has its own rhythm, and it never follows the timetable we expect. The world will always have deadlines, responsibilities, noise, chaos, misunderstandings, and unplanned moments. If peace depended on the outside becoming perfect, we would never experience it. Real peace is not the result of a quiet day. It is the result of a conscious mind. It is not the absence of problems. It is the presence of awareness. Awareness is like switching on a light in a dark room. Imagine you enter your home at night and everything is dark. You may bump into the table, the chair, even the wall. You feel frustrated, irritated, confused. But the moment you switch on the light, nothing about the room changed. The furniture is still the same, the walls are still the same, the layout is still the same. Yet suddenly you feel calmer because now you can see. That is what awareness does inside your mind. It does not remove the challenges of life. It helps you understand them with clarity. When you understand, you stop fighting life. You stop resisting reality. And when resistance drops, rest begins. Think about a day when everything was going wrong. You spilled your tea, you were late for work, someone misunderstood you, unexpected plans came up, and by evening you felt completely exhausted. Now imagine another day where the same things happened, but you handled them differently. Not because the day was different, but because you were different. You laughed at the spilled tea. You stayed calm even when someone misunderstood you, and you kept your inner balance even as plans changed. Life didn't improve. Your awareness did. That awareness is the difference between a mind that reacts and a mind that rests. Awareness grows slowly, gently, moment by moment. When you observe your breath for a few seconds, you are not escaping life. You are returning to yourself. When someone speaks harshly and you choose to pause before reacting, you are practicing inner mastery. When a difficult situation arises and you remind yourself, this too shall pass, you are deepening your awareness. And with every small moment of awareness, the mind begins to settle like mud slowly sinking in water. The water becomes clearer, not because someone removed the mud, but because it was allowed to settle. Your mind becomes calmer not because life became perfect, but because you became present. Many people believe that rest means lying on the bed or taking a vacation. But true mental rest has nothing to do with the softness of your pillow and everything to do with the softness of your perception. You can be sitting in traffic and still feel peaceful. You can be in a crowded market and still feel centered. You can be in the ups and downs of life and still feel balanced. Because rest is not a place you go to, it is a state you return to. It is the quiet place inside you that has always been there, waiting for you to come home. Let me give you a simple example from daily life. Imagine you are holding a glass of water with your arms stretched out. For 1 minute, it feels light. After 10 minutes, it starts to feel heavy. After 1 hour, your arm begins to shake. The weight of the glass never changed, but the longer you hold it, the heavier it feels. This is what happens with your thoughts. A small worry becomes a heavy burden when you hold it too long. A small problem becomes a huge stress when you replay it again and again. Awareness teaches you to put the glass down just for a moment, to rest your mind, to breathe, to reset. When you pick it up again, it feels lighter. Awareness doesn't remove the glass, but it helps you carry it without breaking. Awareness also teaches you to differentiate between what is happening around you and what is happening inside you. Someone may be shouting outside, but awareness reminds you that you don't have to shout inside. A situation may be challenging, but awareness tells you that panic will not solve it. Life may be moving fast, but awareness keeps your inner steps slow and steady. This is the real meaning of rest, the ability to remain untouched by the storms while walking through them. As your awareness deepens, something magical happens. You stop expecting the world to change and start strengthening the inner space that can hold any situation with grace. You stop waiting for silence and start creating silence. You stop wishing for peace and start practicing peace. And that practice, repeated daily in small moments, becomes a powerful inner foundation. Noise outside doesn't disturb you. Your reaction to it does. This simple sentence carries a truth that has the power to change the way you experience every single day of your life. The world is filled with sounds, opinions, judgments, expectations, and pressures. But all of this only becomes a disturbance when it finds an echo inside your mind. The real noise is never what is happening around you. It is what begins to happen inside you the moment you attach emotions, assumptions, and interpretations to the outer noise. We often blame our stress on the world, believing that if people behaved better, if situations were smoother, if circumstances were kinder, we would feel peaceful. But the outer world has never been in our control, and it never will be. The one thing that always remains in your control is your inner response. And that response is the difference between a disturbed mind and a disciplined one. Think about a day when you heard someone say something negative about you. The words may have lasted only a moment, but the reaction inside you probably lasted hours, maybe even days. The statement was just sound, vibrations in the air, but your reaction turned it into pain, stress, anger, or insecurity. If the same comment was said to someone else, they might have laughed, ignored it, or forgotten it within seconds. The sound was the same, but the reaction was different. This shows something important. The outside world doesn't decide the weight of the noise. Your mind does. It's the same with traffic noise, workplace stress, unwanted advice from relatives, misunderstandings with friends. These things exist in everyone's life. Yet not everyone is crushed by them. Why? Because they have learned something powerful. You cannot always control the volume of life, but you can always control the volume of your inner reaction. Peaceful people are not living in quieter environments, they are living with quieter minds. Imagine you are holding a small radio in your hand. If the volume is low, the music continues in the background but doesn't disturb you. You can talk, walk, focus, and live your life. But if you turn the volume to the maximum, even a beautiful song feels irritating. The radio didn't change, the volume did. The world didn't change, your reaction did. That's how your mind works. When your internal volume, your thoughts, assumptions, and emotional expectations is turned up too high, every small external noise feels unbearable. But when your internal volume is regulated, the same noise becomes insignificant. Let's take a common situation. Someone cuts you off in traffic. For a few seconds, the outer event happens. Someone drives aggressively. But for the next 30 minutes, the inner event continues. You complain, you replay it, you get angry. You arrive at your destination irritated. Who disturbed your peace more? The driver who cut you off for 2 seconds, or your mind that held on to it for half an hour? The moment you understand this, you start reclaiming your power. You start choosing your reactions instead of unconsciously reacting. This is why some people can work in noisy environments and still remain calm, while others feel stressed even in quiet spaces. Stress has less to do with sound and more to do with interpretation. If you hear a child laughing loudly, you call it joy. If you hear an adult doing the same thing, you call it noise. Same volume, different perception. Your reaction shapes your reality. Let's look at another scenario. Imagine you are sitting in a park reading a book and someone nearby is talking loudly. Your first reaction might be irritation. Why can't they speak softly? But a moment later, you overhear their conversation and realize they are sharing something joyful or celebrating good news. Suddenly the same noise feels pleasant. What changed? Not them, not their voice. The only thing that changed was the meaning your mind attached to it. If your mind can turn noise into joy in a second, imagine what it can do when trained intentionally. But how do you train this reaction? Not by suppressing emotions, but by watching them. Not by controlling the world, but by controlling your interpretation of the world. When someone says something rude, instead of reacting instantly, you pause and breathe. You remind yourself that their words reflect their state of mind, not your worth. When a situation becomes noisy and chaotic, you shift your focus from the noise to your breath, grounding yourself in the present moment. When life feels overwhelming, you remind yourself that your reaction is your responsibility, not the world's obligation. With practice, you begin to understand that the outer noise is only a trigger. The real disturbance happens when you let that noise enter your mental space. Your mind becomes like a home. Not everyone and everything should be allowed to enter. When you don't invite the noise inside, it cannot disturb you. Remember, noise is natural, but peace is a skill. You are not responsible for the noise around you, but you are responsible for the calm within you. And the calm within you is built slowly, one conscious reaction at a time. So the next time life gets loud, don't rush to shut the world out. Instead, gently turn down the inner volume. Because once you learn to regulate your reaction, even the loudest world can't disturb your silent center. Daily silence is not a luxury, it is inner maintenance. Most people think silence is something they will get when life becomes easy, when the workload reduces, when the children grow up, when money becomes enough, when responsibilities settle down. But silence is not a reward of a peaceful life. Silence is the practice that creates a peaceful life. Just like your phone needs charging every day, Your mind also needs the daily recharge of silence. When you skip that inner maintenance, you may continue functioning, but you function on low battery, irritated, impatient, overwhelmed, and disconnected from yourself. Silence is not the absence of sound, it is the presence of your own inner self. You can sit alone in a quiet room and still feel restless, and you can be in a busy street yet feel deeply calm. The world outside does not decide your silence, the world inside does. And the mind only goes silent when it is given a place to rest, even for a few minutes each day. Think of your mind like a window. When dust gathers daily, opinions, stress, noise, negativity, comparisons, responsibilities, the window becomes cloudy. You can still see through it, but everything looks dull, unclear, irritating. You don't need to replace the window, you simply need to clean it regularly. Silence is that cleaning. Silence wipes away the dust so you can see life clearly again. It helps you remember what truly matters. Imagine your day without silence for even 1 minute. You wake up and immediately check your phone. Messages, notifications, responsibilities enter your mind before your first conscious breath. Then you rush into the day. Work, stress, family needs, expectations, deadlines, noise, traffic, social media, conversations, pressure. You reach the evening and wonder why you feel exhausted, drained, irritated. You ate, you slept, you worked, you walked. But you forgot the one thing that your mind needed the most: silence. Silence is like water for the soul. You can survive without it for some time, but you slowly dry up from inside. Your creativity drops. Your patience disappears. Your ability to make wise decisions weakens. Your relationships feel heavier. Your emotions feel louder. All because the inner space where you process life was never given a moment to breathe. Let me give you an example from daily life. Imagine you keep pouring tea into a cup without pausing. Slowly the cup overflows, not because the tea was bad, but because there was no space left inside. This is how the mind overflows, with stress, anxiety, confusion, irritation. Not because life is bad, but because you never paused long enough to empty some space. Silence gives you that pause. Silence is that space. Some people think silence means sitting in meditation for 1 hour. But true silence can be practiced anywhere, anytime, in small pockets of your day. When you wake up and sit for 30 seconds with your eyes closed, simply observing your breath, that is silence. When you choose to walk slowly without your phone, feeling the ground beneath your feet, that is silence. When you drink your tea without scrolling or thinking, just being present, that is silence. When you pause before reacting to someone, giving your mind a moment to settle, that is silence. These moments may look small, but they are the inner maintenance that keeps your mind fresh, balanced, and strong. Silence is like oiling a machine. Without oil, the machine still moves, but it makes noise. With oil, the same machine runs smoothly, efficiently, and silently. The mind works the same way. Noise is a sign of inner friction. Silence is the oil that reduces the friction and increases harmony. Think of a time when you were very stressed and made a quick decision. Later you realized that decision was not the best. Why did that happen? Because the mind was crowded with noise. Now think of a time when you took a moment, breathed, stayed quiet, and allowed your inner clarity to settle. You most likely made a wiser choice. Silence doesn't give you answers. Silence clears the space so the answers can appear on their own. Let's take a simple, ordinary example. You are having a busy day, many tasks, many conversations, many emotions. Suddenly you step outside for a minute. You take a deep breath. You look at the sky. You look at the trees. You just stop everything for a moment. When you walk back in, You feel different, lighter, calmer, more centered. What changed? Not your responsibilities, not your challenges, only your inner space. Silence created that shift. Daily silence is a way of reconnecting with your true self, the part of you that is not stressed, not confused, not pressured. That eternal, peaceful, grounded part of you always exists, but noise covers it. Silence reveals it. And once even a few seconds of that inner silence enters your day, your whole day begins to change. You respond differently, you speak differently, you think differently, you feel differently. When silence becomes a daily habit, your life transforms without you forcing anything. You begin to carry a sense of calm into your conversations, your relationships, your work, and your daily challenges. People around you feel the difference. You become the peaceful energy in a noisy world. So remember, silence isn't something you take out time for after life becomes easy. Silence is the practice that makes life easier. It is not a luxury for the privileged, it is daily maintenance for every human mind. The more you practice it, the more your inner world becomes a refuge, a place where noise dissolves and clarity begins. Every morning is a chance to reset your inner world before the outer world enters. Most people wake up physically but remain mentally asleep for hours. They allow the world to rush into their minds before they even take their first conscious breath. They wake up and immediately open their phones, and within seconds, the mind is filled with notifications, messages, worries, comparisons, expectations, deadlines, and noise. Before the day has even begun, the mind is already crowded. But a morning is not meant to be a battlefield. It is meant to be a gentle doorway into the day. And every sunrise gives you a fresh opportunity to enter the day with peace, clarity, and balance. If you consciously choose to reset your inner world before the world claims your attention, think of your mind as a room. If you leave the door wide open first thing in the morning, anyone and anything can walk in. Thoughts, fears, stress, demands. But if you spend even a few moments grounding yourself, it's like tidying the room, opening the windows for fresh air, arranging the space so it feels peaceful and inviting. When your inner room is clean, the outer world feels less overwhelming. Morning is when you decide the tone of your entire day. Imagine 2 different mornings. In the first one, you wake up late, rush out of bed, check your messages instantly, stumble into the day, drink tea while scrolling your phone, rush to your tasks, think about yesterday's arguments, worry about tomorrow's deadlines. By the time you start your day, you're already drained. You haven't even stepped out of your home, yet your mind has already traveled through stress, guilt, comparison, and worry. Now imagine another morning. You wake up and sit still for 1 minute. Just 1 minute. You breathe slowly. You feel the morning air. You thank the universe for giving you another day. You stretch your body gently. You speak kindly to yourself. You start the day with intention instead of reaction. Life did not become easier in the second scenario. You became more aware. That awareness transformed the morning, and when the morning transforms, the day feels different. You walk differently, talk differently, think differently, and handle challenges differently. Morning is the time when your mind is closest to silence. It hasn't yet absorbed the noise of the world. That natural silence is precious. It is the most fertile moment